Hello everyone, and welcome to Punk Lotto Pod, the game where no one wins. I kind of sound like one of those computer patched together sentences there for a second. Like, welcome to Punk Lotto. I'm your co-host, Justin Hensley.
I am your other co-host, Dylan Hensley.
And this is the show where, using a number generator and the Rate Your Music Punk charts, we pick one album and one EP at random to discuss. It could be a good album. It could be a bad album. We could be fans of the band. We could not be fans. We may have never even heard of the band. It's total luck of the draw.
Sure.
Don't blow our cover, man. Cover? It's our spot. And now my wife is calling me. Yeah.
If you actually edit it out. How do we?
It's still there. It's fine. Which episode is that? Is that the Swizz one?
Yeah, I think so.
Or the Jam one?
Yeah, it's the Jam one. Because we then intro the episode we just did.
Yeah. Anyway.
We are not professionals.
No, podcasts are not a professional medium. It's college radio for people who...
Don't let NPR fool you.
Yeah. Yeah. American Public Media.
This is for, always was and will always be, for guys with too many opinions.
This is not an iHeart Radio production, nor is it an Earwolf production.
From Tenderfoot.
Feral Audio.
Did you listen? You listened to him, the Up and Vanished?
Yeah.
We're gonna shit on another podcast.
Tenderfoot TV.
Tenderfoot. I always make fun of him, the way he says zip recruiter.
What does he say?
Zip recruiter.
What are you saying that's different?
He says zip recruiter. Zip recruiter. Like zipper recruiter.
Zipper recruiter. Zip recruiter.
Zip recruiter.
Yeah, my favorite thing about that is they'll talk about grisly death, and then they'll be like, mattresses. Simply Fresh is a...
Yeah.
Ugh.
This is a punk podcast. We don't have sponsors.
Unless someone wants to become a sponsor.
In which case we will readily sell out.
You just want to buy the name? I'll sell you the name.
Here, you do it better.
I would sell out so fast, man. It's cool. Nobody calls punks out for being sellouts anymore.
Right.
It's passé.
I mean, Jawbreaker already wrote the book on it.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of Jawbreaker, I'm going to go see them tomorrow night in Norfolk, Virginia. Do you pronounce the L? Do you say Norfolk or Norfolk?
Norfolk.
Norfolk.
It's definitely not how you say it.
In Norfolk, we fuck.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, boy.
It's not the worst thing you'll hear on this episode.
Yeah, that's for sure. We'll save that for later.
Are you gonna play some of the really unsavory clips?
No.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah. We'll tell you about it, but... Well, anyway.
I did say save it for later, and that reminds me that at the week we're recording this, Ranking Roger from The Beat, or The English Beat, as they're known in the United States, as they're contractually obligated to be referred to in the United States, and General Public, he passed away Wednesday?
Yeah.
No,
Tuesday.
Tuesday. He's only 56 years old, and it's really sad. He had lung cancer and had 2 brain tumors removed earlier this year. So, I don't know. So, The Beat just put out an album this year called Public Confidential. And when I say The Beat, I mean Roger's incarnation of The Beat that tours the UK exclusively. And they released, an album this year called Public Confidential, and that came out in February. But after they'd finished recording it, he was diagnosed with the brain tumors and the cancer. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like he was able to overcome it. It's really sad because The Beat are probably one of my one of my all-time favorite bands. Their 3 albums from the 80s are incredible, especially Special Beat Service, their 3rd album. He was in General Public, and they were entertaining as well. Their big song was Tenderness, which was a pretty big hit. And then he even collaborated with the Specials and the Police, Mick Jones of the Clash in Big Audio Dynamite. So like he had a really, a pretty awesome career, especially in the 80s and 90s. So I just wanted to say I'm just sad because he was one of my favorite parts of the beat too. Like he sings "Ranking Full Stop," which is my favorite beat song. And yeah, I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, that was a surprise. It was a big bummer. Always loved the beat.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we could have caught their version. Have they done any U.S.?
I think
shows
they have
with the full band.
I want to say,
or at least with Roger and Dave.
Right, because the majority of the band are not involved in either versions of the beat or the English beat. No, I don't think they maybe have done like a one-off thing here and there, but I don't think they've ever done like a full tour of the States, which is sad because I was always hoping that I would, we got to see Dave's incarnation of the band a couple years ago, and I was always hoping that one day I'd get to see Roger's version in some incarnation. But no, unfortunately that didn't happen. He just finished writing his autobiography too, which is supposed to come out this year, so I'll definitely get that and read it. Yeah, it's sad.
Well,
anyway, on a lighter note, I don't know.
Yeah,
we can get on with the show. Maybe I'll throw in an English beat song right here.
Yeah, that'll pick you back up. But
pick it up.
Well, what are we doing this week?
Alrighty. I don't know. I thought you knew.
Well, I'm looking at some charts right now.
I'm looking at your charts right now. And it's grim.
Ooh. Yeah. We got the year. How do we do this?
Using a number generator. I already explained how the show works.
Right.
For this show, we got the year 1987. And as always, we like to look at the Rate Your Music charts for that year and see what the trends are, sort of, kind of, but mostly just to talk shit on other albums.
Or say, why couldn't we get that one?
Yeah. So looking at this chart, number 1 and number 2 suck.
Yes, they do.
It is Swans, Children of God, and number 2 is Big Black, Songs About Fucking. Gross.
Boo.
Cancel them both.
Yeah.
But looking at number 3 and 4, we got some good ones there. There's the Sisters of Mercy, Floodland, and The Cure's Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. So just, cut those top 2 off the list and then replace them with these 2.
Well, let's see. What are the... I guess we can kind of try and highlight the trends, but this is the year of... What? This is the Revolution Summer, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because number 10 is it.
Embrace by Embrace.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got Wig Out at Danko's.
All right.
By Dag.
Yeah, Rats of Spring had come out in 86, right?
Yeah. And then we have, the birth of grindcore?
I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
With Napalm Death's Scum.
That was the first Napalm Death album.
Is it the first?
Yep.
And and Amoebics, aren't they kind of grind too? I guess they're more crust.
Yeah, but that's kind of where grind came from. So
Yeah.
definitely grind grandfathers. Grind fathers.
It's right there.
We've got some.
There's a lot of crossover thrashcore going on still with DRIs, crossover, and there's Suicidal Tendencies. Which album is that one? Join the Army. MOD, SOB. Sure, a lot of abbreviations and acronyms. There we go. I don't know why I was having a hard time with that. It's also, I guess, it's also the year of weird noise rock.
Right.
Because
the first Melvins album.
Right. And
jeez, this is a huge year. The first Firehose album? No, not the first. Sorry, the second. But still.
A lot of goth stuff. Love and Rockets and The Cure. The Cure. And, oh, wow. Descendants all came out this year? That's interesting. The first page is full of really huge albums, and then when you go to the second page, there's not that many huge albums anymore.
I mean,
I was like, ooh.
You've got, damn, it's another first. You got the first Lemonheads record, Hate Your Friends.
First Neurosis album.
Yep.
Pain of Mine.
I mean, you got some other interesting things. You've got, like, Government Issue. There's a Fall record. There's a Blast record. Agnostic Front.
The first Goo Goo Dolls record.
I mean, there's a Chumbawamba record.
Yeah. Ugh, Screeching Weasel, gross. Circle Jerks 6? Is that what that album's called? VI? Yeah, I don't... How many of these albums would you say that you like?
Hard, though.
Yeah. How many of these albums would you say you, like, genuinely like or love? I don't see too many that I could say that about.
Not a ton. I mean, Firehose, Embrace, Dag, Lemonheads. Most of the bands I pointed out.
Yeah. And even then, it's not like their best stuff. Yeah, an interesting year for sure.
Our good friends TSOL put out their glam punk album.
Which one?
Hit and Run.
Yes. Shit and Run.
Hey, there's a Fang record on here. That's interesting. The Infest demo.
Infest.
Kind of shouldn't be on this list, but...
Demos don't count.
Well, which album did we get
from
this
got
odd-looking year?
Yeah, it's a strange year. We got number 62 on the albums chart, and it is Follow Blind by The Wipers.
Wonder what kind of rolling things going down tonight. If things get stranger, it just won't make sense. I believe it's coming, I think it's there. Gotta keep moving, can't stick around. Gotta get a ticket out of this town. Yeah. Well, the coast is clear, I think it's safe to say. Let's get out of here now, right away. Break out of here, we gotta sprint. Come on and make it easy. Come on, let's go. Just give me, let it be. Yeah, gotta keep moving, can't stick around. Gotta get a ticket out of this town. Gotta keep moving, can't stick around. Gotta get a ticket out of this town.
Hey, you live in Phoenix. Do you know Greg Sage?
I have not encountered him yet.
Is that even a possibility?
He probably doesn't go out much. Man,
Anyway.
that is some bad artwork.
That is some...
I'm looking.
Which one?
I'm looking at the Xeno Records, his website, his official, like the Wipers official website.
For those who don't know, the Wipers are originally from Portland, Oregon, and this is their 5th full-length album and their 2nd of 3 on Restless Records. which was an imprint of our good buddies Enigma Records. If you remember way back to our very first episode with TSOL, and they put out, what is the name of that TSOL album that I can never remember that we talked about?
Well, now I don't know. The zip code for Xeno Records is not too far from where I live. It's a P.O. box, so he must be in the East Valley somewhere, or Central Phoenix.
Then just go post up.
Yeah. I'll recognize him.
From all the photos of him.
They exist.
The TSO album was Revenge. I don't know, I got hung up on that. Yeah, the Enigma Records, who also released stuff by the Dead Milkmen, TSOL, of course, Devo, and the Descendants. That was mainly the Restless imprint. Personnel on this album is Greg Sage on guitar and vocals, as with all Wipers albums. And for his rhythm section on this album, it's Brad Davidson on bass and Steve Plouffe on drums. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Good old Steve. And the album was produced by Greg Sage himself.
Pretty much true of every Wipers record.
Right. As someone who isn't super familiar with the Wipers' full discography, I'd always been told that only the first 3 full lengths are really worth listening to, and so I'd never even really tried to listen to their later stuff. And of course, Spotify makes it really easy because they separate the later material as the Wipers. Yeah. As a different band. I'm assuming that's the label taking money from that. But
the classic records are, just listed under Wipers.
Yeah.
But
the reunion records from the 90s are up there too. So remember that.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that.
Yeah. So
I've always heard that, and people have always have always talked about the Wipers records, the classic ones, being the only ones you need to listen to, and I don't know why people say, I don't know, they're the only essential listening.
That's what I was going to say. I'd say the original, like the very first one until the third full length, are the essential Wipers albums. That, like, if you've never heard the Wipers before, go listen to those.
Yeah,
those 3 first, and then listen to the Alien Boy EP too, because that's a pretty big release.
I would
go listen to those first.
I would say start at the beginning too.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not my favorite Wipers record. Like, I definitely prefer, what is the name of that third record?
Over the Edge.
Yes, I prefer Over the Edge to.
I mean, Over the Edge,
Youth of America, or Is This Real?
Over the Edge is a perfect record. I absolutely love that album. But I had always heard that, and then I saw people talking about. I have seen at least a few people whose taste I trust talk about the later Wipers records and how good they are. So I've actually listened to a little bit of his later stuff. Mm-hmm. So I kind of knew what to expect from this album going into it in terms of how it differs from. I mean, just the album before, even.
I don't think this album may be more so than the album before, Land of the Lost. But I don't think they differ that much from the first 3 albums. I'd say the music is a little cleaner, but that's probably the only huge. I mean, maybe it's not as innovative, or maybe it's not as original as his earlier stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not as. I wouldn't say catchy, because Wipers aren't really a catchy band, but
it doesn't have the edge of the classic albums. It doesn't have it. The production is a little slicker, and even his voice, he doesn't exactly sing the same way. He doesn't really full on belt it the way he does at least on the first album, and even up to Over the Edge, he's got a louder voice. He kind of sings a little more on the later stuff.
Yeah. So I guess the overall sound of this album is, I guess it's still post-punk. But it's definitely darker. But it almost borders on gothic with the amount of reverb on his vocals, and like the guitar lines are a lot cleaner in some songs on here. I don't know if that was just him kind of reacting to trends in music or if it was just him, I don't know, just wanting to experiment or try something a little different. I can't say I love the album. I do like it, and there's a lot of interesting things happening here, but I don't know how often I'm going to go back to this one.
Yeah, If I'm really wanting to listen to the Wipers, I'm gonna go with Over the Edge, but I liked it a lot. It's just not as exciting. The songs are generally a little more laid back and
more melodic, but even then, he still has a delivery that's not. It's kind of a stiff vocal delivery, not robotic, but definitely stilted. The star on this album is the guitar work,
and yeah, that's always been his best element. His biggest strength is his guitar playing. There are some really killer guitar leads on this record.
Yeah.
I really love the way he uses. I really love the way he uses his tremolo arm on his guitar, and there's just tons of echo on his guitar, tape echo, that sounds great.
Yeah, there are a couple specific tracks, like the title track has a great solo at the end of it. Anytime You Find, which is like one of the best songs on the album, has a really cool solo. That song has a really cool tone too. I've got each track written down here and see which ones. Yeah, and then like the song Coming Down has a good solo at the end of it too. Yeah, I mean there's just a lot of really cool guitar parts. Even if the whole song itself isn't like great, like some of the songs towards the end of the album, there's something to like in each song, specifically his guitar playing. Because I mean the bass tone is really good on the album, but it's kind of simple. It's just kind of there. It does its job. And the same goes for the bass or the drums. It's definitely just we have a function in this band, and this is what we do, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Wipers have never been a band that have never been. The Wipers are basically just Greg Sage. They've changed other members so much, because I think even Brad and Steve are both on Land of the Lost.
Mm-hmm. And one of them is even on Over the Edge. I want to say this is like the one Wikipedia article that doesn't have the band member chart. It shows you the line. Steve joined on Sage's first solo album, Straight Ahead, and Brad joined on Youth of America. So Brad was actually in the band for a while. So did you catch the weird 70s rock vibe on Let It Slide?
Yes.
Yes, I'd said this before we recorded, but they had a little bit of like a Bachman Turner Overdrive or Bad Company kind of classic rock sound to it. And then there's a couple weird like rockabilly surfy tracks towards the end of the album, like Coming Down and Next Time. It seems like he was trying to experiment with like different tempos and like different ways of like strum patterns. Like there's like a flamenco, tone or like rhythm on someplace else. Yeah, I don't know, it's just
there's Yeah, I mean, he's always been influenced by like classic garage rock and like surf.
Well, he was super influenced by Jimi Hendrix too.
Yeah, I read an interview with him somewhere where he started out playing the bass. I think his first instrument was the bass, which is kind of interesting because he is a really great guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Sage has always been kind of an oddity, and he's said that what he originally wanted to do with the band, his idea for the band originally was to do like 5 albums with no touring and no interviews.
Not 5, 15.
Oh.
He wanted to do 15 studio albums with no touring and no live shows. He didn't want his picture taken. He didn't want to do interviews. But I guess they finally were like, people really like these records. We should probably play some shows. I mean, I guess they also knew that nobody would put any of their stuff out unless they, played shows. But I just love the idea of being like, no, 15 studio albums, nothing else. Which, did he get to that 15 between his Wipers and solo albums?
I don't know that he's put out that many. I don't think so. Let me look at his solo albums.
There's 9 full lengths.
Damn.
And an EP makes it 10 at the Wipers. How many solo records does he have? I always think he's got like a couple solo albums. Yeah, he's only got 2. So he got to 12. He didn't quite make it. But maybe if you count some best ofs and live records, then
yeah,
you do get 15. Yeah, it was really hard to find interviews, because Greg Sage doesn't like doing interviews. And the only thing I could really find from our close to the time period was an interview in the Phoenix New Times in 1991, where they mainly interview him about moving to Phoenix and like why he wanted to get away from Portland. And
doesn't he say something about like the vortexes?
What vortexes?
I think I've read an interview with him where he talks about the vortexes in this. So, okay, Arizona has these reported vortexes, and it's like, it's mostly like Sedona is really famous for it. Like hippies really love it because there's supposed to be a energy vortex.
Ugh.
Which I don't want to be too dismissive of that, because I don't know enough about if that's something that hippies have just appropriated from natives.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like shit too hard on it, but yeah, the hippie stuff. Y'all are mostly full of bullshit.
What I was reading is he was just tired of the Portland scene, and he thought that Phoenix had... Well, he originally wanted to move to Albuquerque, but he didn't like it that much, so then he moved to Phoenix because it wasn't... one of the main reasons was every time the Wipers were like on tour and on the way to Phoenix, their shows would get canceled and like the venues would get shut down. So he was like, this might be the best place for me. You know, they don't care about the wipers here. But he also seems to think that Phoenix has a really cool vibe that could turn into a really big scene. And he was saying this in 91.
He said that in 91. Yeah.
So it kind of came true with Jimmy World.
Yeah, but he wasn't right, though. I don't know. Phoenix has a weird scene. It doesn't have as big of a music scene as it should for being such a big city. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of venues here, though, and tours come through pretty often, and there are local bands, and I mean, AJJ and...
Mm-hmm. The Maine!
Yeah, that's kind of the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's funny.
It doesn't produce a lot of bands inspired by the Wipers like you would hope.
Yeah. It's funny. I guess it's a big enough city that bands will always do well there to tour through, but it doesn't have the right vibe, I guess, to create a strong art scene, like music art scene. I don't know.
Well,
it's a really sprawling city. I don't know if that affects it too.
A big problem with Phoenix is that anytime any neighborhood starts to get cred as like an art scene or a music scene, it gets co-opted fast. All of the scenes have been like that. Tempe was like that, from what I've heard. Tempe was like the cool music scene for a long time, and it's all just like corporate, terrible like bars.
Yeah.
And then what used to be the arts district is just like turned into condos since I moved here. Like the arts district was dying as I moved here, and it's dead now. A lot of it has moved towards Grand Avenue, from what I've heard, but I haven't really been out to any shows or anything. And everything's, like you said, it's sprawling, so it's really spread out, and there are a lot of little places all over the valley. I don't know, it's not very centralized, and it...
Mm-hmm. I mean, Phoenix is, as an outsider, I don't know if we've ever talked about this before, but as someone who's not been to Phoenix, like, before, like, last year, I didn't realize that Tempe, Phoenix, Scottsdale, and isn't there another one? Like, all these towns that you've heard of, the Mesa, all these cities you've heard of in Arizona are all on top of each other.
And that's just the East Valley.
They're essentially one giant city, but somehow they managed to, the people outside of Arizona do not know that those are completely different. Those are all the same place, basically.
So, staying on track with the Wipers, Greg Sage has been an engineer forever. Like, he's pretty much recorded all of the Wipers stuff, all his own solo stuff. I don't see much info on him recording other people.
He probably doesn't want to.
But he has a studio.
Is it just for him?
So I really want to see if there are any credits for him as an engineer.
He's got 41 production credits on Discogs, and there's not really much that he's done outside of them.
He's listed as a producer on a Beat Happening box set.
Yeah. What does his record label put out? Anything?
Wipers. Pretty much just the only stuff that's listed on the website is Wipers. Because he's like, I don't know, like he seems to be really serious about it, as far as like he built most of his gear.
Yeah.
Like he built his own preamps and mixer, and like just from the beginning was pretty much completely DIY. So it's really odd that he's not like a producer, you know?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe he just doesn't like people.
His own stuff. So I don't know what he's doing for a living.
Yeah. I doubt he's living off of Wipers reissues.
Yeah, I mean, the handful of like Nirvana and Melvin's covers, like those aren't going to turn in a whole lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's one of those artists who you really want to admire how dedicated to their craft and not their own ego they are, but their total lack of ego makes them so hard to get a grasp on,
Mm-hmm.
to get any real information on, and he reminds me of like Steve Ditko.
Yeah.
As far as
wow.
being
That's
so
actually really
intensely private and like my work stands for itself, you know.
Which I was gonna say, I think that's probably the point. He wants his music to stand for itself, and he doesn't want his persona to.
Which that in itself is a persona,
Yes.
but it is a prickly one that people have difficulty getting into.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, what would you rate this album?
I probably liked it more than you did. Honestly, I want to say like a 4.25.
I'd give it a 3.75. I like what he's doing. I love, like, his guitar is amazing. Like, what he's doing with that is amazing. But he just didn't turn them into songs that I felt super compelled to listen to again. There's maybe 2 songs on here that I really would go back to, but I don't. Loser's Town and Anytime You Find are probably the 2 that I would go back to.
I was gonna say Loser's Town is a great one, almost an instant classic. Kind of echoes Doomtown, one of my absolute favorite Wipers songs. I really loved Against the Wall. That was right off the bat. That one really impressed me. I love the general moodiness of that album.
Yeah, but it does give it a little sameness too.
Yeah.
And if he hadn't made an intentional effort to like try a different effect on different songs, then I would have just assumed the whole album was the same songs. You know, like what? One long song. But he does enough unique things to keep them separate. Yeah, I'd say it's a good, not great record for me.
It does make me want to dig into the later albums more, though. So there's that. Mm-hmm. I've heard a little bit from everything. Like I would even say there's some really great songs on The Herd from '96, like Stormy, and there's some really good songs on there. So I've definitely heard a good bit of everything by him, and none of it has turned me off. Like I feel like the Wipers are a band, and Greg Sage is a musician who, his later stuff, sure, it's not as good, but it's not bad. Like
right.
he never like completely lost his touch, you know?
Yeah, looking at like the scores of the Wipers albums on Rate Your Music, they just kind of slowly go down. The more albums he puts out, the lower the scores go. So like this one's like firmly in the middle, and it's like kind of right there in the middle score wise.
Yeah. Like
not as good as Land of the Lost, but better than The Circle. And those are all better than Silver Sail or The Herd and The Power of One. But I'd be interested to like really deep dive on the discography and see what's there, and see if find the best bits, and like bring them to the surface, or some, just see what's there. He felt compelled to make this many albums, so like I want to know what is worth listening to in there. But yeah, well, we should probably hop into our EP.
Oh, it's a doozy.
Oh boy. So this is wrong. It's number 12 on the EP charts, so that's way too high. It is Henrietta Collins and the Wifebeating Childhaters.
I'm so sorry.
And their EP, Drive-By Shooting.
Oh boy.
Even though they're in the middle of a whirlwind tour of Leeds, England, we managed to catch up to Henrietta and the band and drag them into the studio for a session. PCP1 is proud to introduce Henrietta Collins and the Wife-Beating Childhaters. Hello, Henrietta.
Hi, Paul. Hi, gang. Hit it, fellas. We'll leave nothing to your imagination this time. We tried that last time, and in our opinion, it didn't work. We're gonna do a little number for you right now. It's called Drive-By Shooting. It's pretty wild. I hope you like it. We're gonna get in our car. We're gonna go, go, go. Gonna drive to a neighborhood, kill someone we don't know. Drive-by shooting. We're gonna go out killing, that's what we're gonna do. night train.
First gear,
Cruising down the interstate.
second gear,
Smoking on the angel dust.
third gear,
I think my head's about to bust.
fourth gear.
Drive-by shooting.
Watch out for that pig!
What the fuck is this shit?
Oh my gosh. So I didn't do a ton of research on this one, and what little I did didn't turn up much information. But one thing I noticed right off the bat was people who have heard this EP don't uniformly hate it, and
That is
it
insane.
blew my mind at how positive the reviews are.
It's totally people being blinded by the fact that this is a band starring Henry Rollins, and they're like, "Oh, it's black humor."
Well,
and I'm
there's so many.
yeah,
There's so many people who are like, "It's hilarious," and I'm like, by shock jock dark humor, this is bad standards. This is bad.
right. This is this is
by
like
Henry Rollins, almost stand-up comedian level. This is bad.
yeah. It's like it's edgelord shit. It's like stuff that's like it's funny because it's dark, and it's like no, it's not. It's like a shittier Dead Kennedys type of humor. If you know, it's like the quality of a Steve Albini's kind of funny, like that kind of. It's not funny. It's trying to be edgy, and it's edgy, but it's genuinely not funny. And I'm not the type of person who's like, you can't joke about this kind of stuff. No, I think it is possible to find humor in nearly every situation. This just isn't funny.
Right.
And it feels like this is him auditioning for, his later spoken word / stand-up comedy career that he developed over time.
So, I wanted to ask, when did Henry Rollins get funny?
So
So
late 90s? Or is there... No, there's humor in some of those Rollins band songs. Like Liar's got some funny stuff in it.
yeah, I mean the video for it is
Yeah.
pretty funny.
He may have always had a sense of humor, but I don't know. I don't know when he became
Was
funny.
it just a real? Do you think maybe there's the distinction is that he realized that his humorous strengths were in conversation, in a conversational format, and not
Maybe.
so performative?
Well, I was going to say, this album...
Like,
This was made after his very first spoken word album, which was the first thing he did after Black Flag.
Right.
And his early spoken word is just bad poetry. It's...
well, right, like the Family Man stuff with
Yeah.
Black Flag.
like it, so I think this is him trying to take that type of, spoken word / poetry was dark, and then him trying to be funny with it. But I think he realized that maybe keeping it in the format was the issue. And then once he let go of trying to make his jokes into a high art, or I don't know what else he would. He's overthinking the humor, I think. But trying to keep it structurally within. I don't know. There's only 3 real songs on this album.
And one of them is a cover.
So, right. So let's run through some basics real quick. This was released on Texas Hotel Records, who really only released albums by the Rollins Band, and interestingly, the first 4 or 5 Vic Chestnut albums, which is kind of shocking. But
That is so weird.
I love Vic Chestnut. Vic Chestnut's amazing. The personnel on this album is Henry Rollins on vocals, Chris Haskett on guitar, Bernie Wandell on bass, and Mick Green on drums. Henry Rollins, of course, we need no introduction to who he is. Chris would wind up playing with Henry in the Rollins Band, and Bernie and Mick would play on the next Henry Rollins solo album before he fully converted it to being the Rollins Band. So, and then they all have the hilarious idea of calling themselves girl names in the liner notes.
Oh, yeah.
So Henry's Henrietta, Chris is Christine, Bernie is Bernice, and I forgot what Mick was. Michelle? Yeah. It's like, oh, it's so funny. He's I guess he's trying to be subversive on this record. And maybe for 1987 standards it is, but it's still not funny. I don't know. I feel like the only way to talk about this album would to break it down track by track.
I don't know. Even in terms of like weird, edgy humor, it's not like
yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like John Waters was doing better stuff, like in the 70s. You know, in terms of really gross and weird and dark humor.
Yeah, this was him trying to, I guess, I don't know, break his image from Black Flag, because he did all those weird art movies in the 80s, like Lydia Loveless, movies, which are just weird art movies, and this feels like it's right there in that, and it's almost like it just purely represents his career. So even when once he switches to doing Rollins band and actually writing songs, that's also when he switches to basically being a stand-up comedian. So
Lydia Lunch.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Lydia Lunch. Lydia Loveless is a musician, I believe. I don't know. Let's. So there's a lot of references to things on here that I'm like, why do you keep referencing the same things? And all right, let's just do it track by track.
Right.
So the first song is Drive-By Shooting, which starts with a weird fake British radio introduction from PCP1. was his joke parody of the BBC PCP, and then it's like a dumb surf rock parody that about a drive-by shooting and killing people, and this is the first reference to Angel Dust on the album, because there's a couple, and this is the first song about killing.
This song,
and
when it started, I was like, okay, it's like they're doing like a Beach Boys like surf rock parody, like, but then it's gonna like kind of kick in and it's gonna be more like Rollins band, right? Nope.
It's a whole song.
2 minutes go by.
Also, yeah, you're like, oh, this is the song, isn't it? It's the type of thing that you do a 30-second intro into a real song, but they do a full song, and then the song also abruptly ends in the third verse. It's just over. Like, he doesn't do the drive-by shooting chorus again. It's almost like, no, I gotta get this third verse in because it's hilarious. And it's not funny. And then you're like, is this what we're in for?
So you mentioned Dead Kennedys, and I was listening to this, and I'm like, is he doing a Dead Kennedys parody?
Yeah. You could say that song was a little... the thing I read compared it to a Beach Boys parody, which is, I guess, the most accurate. But it did have a little bit of that, like, is he making fun of the Dead Kennedys with this? So, all right, that's the first track. It's whatever. It's the second best song on the album. And it's followed up by the actual best song on the album and the only thing worth listening to on here. And it is a cover of the Wire song, Ex-Lion Tamer.
There's great danger for the lonely stranger of all. No silver bullets, Tonto split the sea. Next week we'll solve your problems, but now there's fingers all in a line. The bottles stay empty. Stay glued to your TV set. There's great danger at hand. Most papers say to all. No book of justice.
It's not even really a good cover.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't know the original very well, so I went and listened to the original, and I thought it was a good cover. I thought it did a good job. They make it a little faster, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked it. Maybe I was just so desperate for something to enjoy on this album.
So like something about it.
Plus, not knowing that song well already, so I didn't like it. I didn't even know it was a cover until I read it later. So it shows you how much Wire I listened to. That's the only thing I would recommend. If you have to listen to anything off of this EP, this is the only thing worth listening to. Because next, he does a song called Hey Henrietta.
Hey, Henry.
Yeah?
What would you do if I told you that my father was a wife-beating, child-hating, racist, sexist bastard? He was a motherfucker, and I went to his house with a gun, and I blew his goddamn head off. Well, I think I'd say, well, all right. Yeah! Well, Henry, I was a fake suicide man. I was a fake suicide man. I was a fake suicide man. I seen the real thing, and I can tell you I was a fake suicide man. I was sitting home on my bed, and the walls were starting to shake. The windows were starting to shake, and I was saying to myself I didn't want to live anymore. I went to the bathroom, I took that razor blade, I put it in my stomach, I put it in my arm, I put it on my leg. And I was cutting in, and there was blood on the sink, there was blood on the mirror, there was blood on the floor, and I was cutting in. And I was a fake suicide man. I was a fake suicide man. But I tell you, I started to feel good. I felt that sweat going, I could smell that sweat, I could smell the heat, I could feel it all. I could see all that blood going down my stomach into my weight bed of my underwear, and I felt good. I felt like I was 10 feet tall.
Which, by the way, the joke of calling yourself girl names on there doesn't work, because in the song he doesn't call it.
Yeah, he just says,
calls
hey,
himself
Henry
in the song. The song is like, oh, what is it? It's formatted like a laugh-in or a hee-haw style like comedy show with like it's a hey Henry, and he says yeah, and then he tells a joke which is just about murdering people.
Yeah.
The first two are just about murdering people, one about killing your boss. The third verse, I believe, is an upsetting graphic rape scenario that's meant to be funny. I don't know what he was doing with that.
It's the cop one, right?
Yeah, about raping a policewoman cop. Policewoman cop.
Yeah, it was very, 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 very dark.
Yeah. And then he would end each verse with a hit me and then a drum thing before he would start the next joke. See, I feel like it's a direct parody of something specific that we're maybe not getting, but the jokes aren't really jokes. They're just upsetting scenarios.
No, Henry, what are you doing? That's not a joke. That's just gross.
I would hope that he is embarrassed by this one. And I hope that he has the common sense now to be like, oh, that was bad and I shouldn't have done it.
I don't know. They re-released it.
In 1999, that's almost 20 years ago at this point. So
yeah, it was over 10 years later that they re-released it. They re-released it with Hot Animal Machine, which was the first.
Yeah, skip
Rollins
this album.
band
Just listen
EP.
to Hot Animal Machine if you're that insistent on listening to post Black Flag Henry Rollins. But even I wouldn't even say you have to listen to that one. I have that one. It's good, but it's not as good as Wait or In Silence. Oh man, so
maybe only worth it for what, the Suicide cover.
Ghost Rider. He does a Ghost Rider. He does a fast version of Ghost Rider because he does a slow version for the Crow soundtrack. Yeah. All right, so after Hey Henrietta,
what the fuck is Can You Speak This?
She goes away for a few minutes into the cellar and comes back holding this hammer. It was her husband's as it happens, though she says he probably never used it in his life. It looks very old, but it still has a 10-cent price tag tied on. She puts it into my hands as though she thinks we both find it a somewhat distasteful object. Her expression alters to a slightly quizzical look. I begin to become visibly embarrassed, and then she says, "Here, can you speak this?" I have no words, so she goes over to the pantry and I can hear her moving stuff around.
I didn't understand it at all. It's almost the same format as Hey Henrietta. Like, he presents some dark, absurd thing, and they say, "Can you speak this?"
Yeah, it is. It is very much the same it's upsetting scenarios that have a punchline. It reminded me of, do you remember, have you seen those SNL sketches where the kids, it's like the high school play where they're trying to do like these like more abstract like message plays?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And every time he would do that, can you speak to this? It would make me think of like one of those SNL sketches.
Just kind of like a bad postmodern play. Maybe that's what he's
yeah.
trying to do. Is maybe he's trying to parody spoken word, like postmodern performance art.
Maybe. That may be giving him more credit, though, than... I think he's trying to create a dark, comedic version of spoken word performance art. That one I don't have a lot to say about. It wasn't very long. The music itself is sort of like... just like this Jesus Lizard type noise rock. Sort of just... It's about murder.
Yeah.
It's probably the best of these tracks, the spoken word tracks on here. Oh my god. And so the next track is I Have Come to Kill You, a parody of Queen's We Will Rock You.
It is like every bit as long as We Will Rock You.
Actually, I think it's longer.
Yeah. Well, the radio edit of We Will Rock You is like 3 minutes, but I think it probably goes on longer on the album.
This song has the second reference to smoking angel dust in it. And it's also about murder. I mean, the name of the song is I Have Come to Kill You. Did you catch the shocking use of the N-word?
No.
I heard it, and I literally gasped. It like was like a slap across the face. I was like, what are you doing? Why did you put that in there? It's in a segment of the song where he's like doing comparisons. So he says the N-word, honky.
Right.
Something else, mother, father, like, you know, like opposite. I don't know. They're not really parallels, correlations. Hunky is not the same as saying the actual word. So, but then when I listened to it a second time, I gasped again when he got to it because I forgot it was coming. Oh man, I wonder if the lyrics to this track are posted anywhere online. If I were Henry Rollins, I would go out of my way to make sure that no one ever heard this song. One, because it's a stupid parody of We Will Rock You, and then he uses the N-word in the song. I don't believe Henry Rollins is racist.
No. I mean, no. Obviously, his use of the word in this song is intended to be shocking humor, which in the 80s, people didn't... Edgy comedians kind of could get away with that more. I mean, well into the 2000s, edgy comedians were using racial slurs and thinking that it was funny. So, and that it was okay because it was ironic. But yeah, it's icky.
It was meant to be compared to. It just doesn't work. It was upsetting.
I didn't catch it when I listened to it, but I did hear honky.
This is another reference.
But I was mostly zoning out at that point because I was just like, please hurry up and finish.
It's too long. It's another song about hating your boss, and is also the first reference to have your nose being stuck in your boss's ass. like very graphic imagery that he uses twice on the album, because he then uses that imagery again in the song Men Are Pigs.
In, out, in, out, in, oh, baby, out. You gotta be good to your man. You work so hard for you, baby. You gotta be good to your man, baby. All day long he's out there bringing home the bacon for you, baby. Sticking his nose up the boss's ass for you, baby. He wants to call you out, baby. Mama, you gotta be good to your man. You gotta make him feel good. That's your job. You gotta make him feel good. You know how to do it. You have to use your mouth. Look into his eyes. Take him into the bedroom.
Which is another spoken word song. It's a real gross sex song. It's really mainly gross because the entire song is... yes, the entirety vocals. Of the song, Henry... he's going in, out, like for the entirety of the song.
Oh, God.
That's what makes it gross.
Which, the lyrics of that song are...
feminist, question mark? Yeah, it's a song about a woman pleasuring her husband and then in the middle of it killing him and cutting his penis off and mailing it to him.
It's instructions to women to pleasure their husbands and then cut it off, cut the whole thing off and
mail it to Henry.
I really hope that was his actual P.O. box. He gives an address.
Is that the one where he ends with like a fake commercial? No, that's I Have Come to Kill You. It ends in like a weird like fake commercial that then is like the Reverend Henry is here to tell you to something. I don't know. And the last song on the album is just an instrumental noise rock song called The Road Song. Similar to Unsane.
Yeah, I was going to say, it reminded me of Unsane. So the only two songs worth listening to on this EP are The Road Song and their Wipers cover.
Wire.
Not Wipers. Wire cover. Correct.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Do not listen to this. Don't waste your time listening to this. I wish he would like go out of his way. Well, I mean, I get it. Why he probably hasn't gone out of his way to try and disown it, or
because he doesn't want to call any more attention to it. Probably.
Yeah, he wants everyone to forget this exists. I wonder if he forgot.
So
he probably didn't.
This EP, it's like it's improv, right?
It feels like it, but I don't think it is. I think he wrote this shit down. Though, doesn't he stumble at one point in the joke song, Hey Henrietta? He like stumbles over one of
Yeah, they didn't bother to re-record that. It's very off the cuff.
It's a lot of one takes, I feel like.
It seems like something they had studio time. I just don't know what they intended for it.
I don't know. I think this was a performance art thing. Ugh, don't listen to it.
Because, I mean, Lifetime, like, same year. 1980, or...
No.
Next year. 88. Lifetime.
No. Hot Animal Machine is 88. Lifetime, I think, is 90.
Gotta look that up, because the charts are looking... Or the Wikipedia looks wrong. No, Lifetime was 88.
When did Hot Animal Machine come out?
It was in 87 too.
Good lord. He cranked them out. Wait, what? Ugh, whatever. We didn't see it on... See, Hot Animal Machine has actually got some decent stuff on it. I don't know. This is bad.
So...
Hot Animal Machine came out in 86. This came out after that?
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep. So they went and did that garbage after they already had a decent EP.
Yeah.
So it was something, I mean, it was purely a joke. I mean, it was done, it's just so weird that they did this.
Yeah.
And because Rollins' band was like a serious band.
Right.
Like,
as serious,
heavy and angry, and
there are so many positive reviews of this thing too. And I'm like, what? Why? Why is he giving this a positive review? Maybe there's a reason why he released this as Henrietta Collins and the Wife-Beating Childhaters instead of Henry Rollins. Just, if you're embarrassed by it, then just don't release it.
Yeah. Someone talk him into it? Was the rest of the band like, it's hilarious, you gotta put it out? I just feel like the rest of the band would be even more embarrassed of it because
they don't have more work to really show.
Yeah, they don't want to have to. I can't believe we drew this EP. I can't believe this EP exists.
Why does it exist? Ugh.
I would totally ask him about it though. If I could.
I bet he would. He's also the type to let his mistakes stay out there. Like,
he is the kind of, so
he would admit that he grew and he's not the same person he was when he released this. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I can't speak entirely for him, but from everything he has ever put out there himself, I feel like he would be like, yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that today.
Yeah, the number of times he's put his foot in his mouth and then immediately apologized.
Right.
I imagine he would be pretty embarrassed.
Yeah. I'd be. But I would also be like, hey, please don't. I don't know, you want to draw attention to it, but I would do my best to eliminate it. I don't know. It's out there, I guess.
Yeah. Can't undo it.
I guess he'd get in front of it and be like, yeah, it's performance art. Yeah, it's bad. That's really all you can say.
Yeah.
Ugh. So bad.
Well, what would you rate this?
Oof. Well,
is it on a scale of one bad pig?
Oh no!
To
one bad pig to the
murder dolls. You keep forgetting the murder dolls.
What? Yeah, because they're awful. The main definitely are one of the better ones. Oh yeah.
Like a 1. Like there's not even
a 1.
Barely 1. An attempt to write any actual music.
If the Wire cover wasn't on this, it would be a what, 5.5?
Yeah, 0.5. Oh, it'd be a 5-star, but damn, that Wire cover just drags it down.
Yeah, I think that Wire cover is the only thing redeemable about it. The instrumental track is whatever. It's fine. It's instrumental. And the drive-by shooting, you could see what he's going for there. It's not funny, but there is something musical about it. It's better than One Bad Pig, I think.
I don't remember what I gave One Bad Pig.
I don't either. Like a 0.75. Yeah, I'd give it a 1. I don't know. I don't know. And I may be just being blinded by the cult of Rollins or something. I don't know.
Not as bad as some people, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Like, those people who give it a 5-star review because they think it's the funniest thing they've ever heard. Yuck. Yuck.
Oh, Howard Stern fans.
And I think he's funny. I think his stand-up spoken word is funny. Some stuff I've heard from, like, the late 90s, early 2000s, it's borderline. It's borderline offensive. Which is good, I think, because there's too much comedy from that time is just outright offensive.
I was going to say, like, that was, like, peak, edgy, ironic, underground comedian.
Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, I've heard many other comedians, like, talk about how stuff made 7 years ago you can't do now.
Yeah.
So the fact that some of his stuff from, like, the late 90s, early 2000s still you can listen to, you could just modify it slightly and it would work still today, is actually kind of a testament to his storytelling abilities, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's like Shut Up You Fucking Baby by David Cross was 2002. I'm just trying to think of, like, who's the least likable of those comedians.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah. I don't. Did we talk about this actually on the episode last week, or was that after we stopped recording about people who give Henry a hard time?
I think that might have been after we stopped recording. You can edit it out, I guess, if we want to talk about it now.
Right. If I left it in, I'll edit this out. But so there's like a contingent of, I guess, punks today who call Henry Rollins out as being like, I don't know. What would you say? Like they call him out for being like just like a big dumb meathead.
Yeah, I mean I've seen a lot of punks who are just kind of like, Rollins sucks. He's a jock.
Yeah, and he's fit. I mean, he's not really a jock. I mean, I'm assuming he's compensating for something. He's definitely got some deep seated issues.
Well, I mean.
But
I think he's talked about his issues with his father. I mean and he go to military school. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I think he's had a lot of toxic masculinity beaten into him, like literally, and and then a lot of that being in that LA hardcore scene. Like,
I mean, he does talk a lot about getting into fights
and. Yeah.
Even in his humor, beating people up. And so, I mean, I guess there's that. I mean, solving problems with your fists isn't.
But he's also been a victim of some pretty extreme violence. So.
Right.
I mean, his best friend was killed in front of him. You know? So,
yeah. He's also, like, really smart. Like, he is genuinely smart.
And well-traveled. And outspoken supporter of women and the LGBT and has been for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, even this, as bad as this song "Men Are Pigs Are," it is a weirdly feminist song.
Yeah.
It's a feminist song in 1987 lens, I guess. But yeah, so he's
always struck me as well-meaning, if not.
Mm-hmm. Like he had those comments about Robin Williams committing suicide and how, you know, he thinks it's a coward's way out, and so he's had some wrong-headed approaches, but he also apologize for that.
I mean,
too?
His column the next day was pretty much saying, "I should not have said that. I was wrong."
Yeah,
and
so
I've had many people speak to me about that, and I see
for
the
a guy
error
in
of
his
my
50s,
ways.
He sure is willing to admit he was wrong very easily.
If anything, that's one of the best things about him.
Yeah. He's aged far more gracefully than nearly every other punk from his time period.
Yeah, I mean,
like that perfect example was that interview with him and John Lydon just a couple months ago about, it was like Marky Ramone and John Lydon and Duff from Guns N' Roses was there too, and Henry Rollins was there. He was definitely the one who came out the best out of that entire thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's willing to change, so that means he deserves to be cut a little slack.
Yeah, I mean, how satisfying was Civ's apology on the All Lives Matter thing?
Right, or like the chokehold dude.
Yeah.
Who else? Didn't somebody else get called out for something similar?
Anyway, I don't know. Like, I don't want to make too much of an apology for him because he's definitely said shitty things and should be called out for them.
Yeah, this EP in particular. Yeah. All right, so let's next week we're doing the year 2004, and we got number 186 on the album charts, and it is Martyr AD's "On Earth as It Is in Hell." And on the EP charts, we got number 302, and it is Blacklisted by Blacklisted. So that's going to be a fun episode. I hope there's no skeletons on his lyrics anywhere. There's actually a literal skeleton on the album cover for Martyr AD. So
let me consult darklyrics.com.
Oh my God, they're still around. What's the matter? P-Lyrics didn't have them up there?
I don't know. Going by all these song titles, I feel like Martyr AD is probably just more like anti-religion.
That's fine. I can listen. Yeah, even the song
all your
titles are
prayers won't be
definitely-
heard anymore. Yeah.
Late Night Faith Healer.
I'm excited to talk about that Martyr AD album.
Yeah. And that Blacklisted should be good too. So I'm excited to talk about it. So continue to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're at punklautopod. We have an email address that's punklautopod@gmail.com. And our website is punklautopod.simplecast.fm. Yeah, rate, review, and subscribe. Give us some ratings so we can get a bigger audience out there. It helps people find the show easier whenever there are more ratings. And I don't really have anything else, so...
Once again, so sorry that if you went and listened to the Henrietta Collins EP,
Whew.
like if you're playing along, I don't know how many people actually do that. This was not a hidden gem.
No.
It was a hidden turd.
Like a
Just-
turd in a
Just
sandbox.
an old, desiccated cat shit hiding under your couch.
Yeah.
Fuck. How long has that been there?
How long's that been there? All right. I hit Rick.
Look, it's Kylie Jenner. Can I get a selfie? Can I get a selfie? Look, it's Chris Hemsworth. Can I get a selfie? Can I get a selfie?
Look, it's a scientist.
No thanks.
The program says tonight's proceeds go to Standing Rock. Let's get those Native Americans the pipeline they want.
Yeah, I don't think they know what's happening there.